Good evening for a week two episode of Sky U Pod. Gopher fans, it is your College Huddle Golden Gopher football podcast. Uh, Fellas, we're headed in 1-0 this week for another home game against the Northwestern State Demons. Curdy, Max, as always, joining me. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
Doing good. Feels good to be 1-0 and crossing our fingers to be 2-0.
Yeah. No, everything's going great. Happy to be 1-0. I'm with Max. I after the game initially against Buffalo, I was kind of worried, like not down, but just like, oh, we didn't look very good. But then I got home and I saw like the other scores that happened even that Thursday night and then throughout Saturday. It's like, okay, unless you were playing like an FCS school or some highly mismatched game, it was pretty up and down for a lot of Big Ten teams. So I was more okay with our performance, and I was there. It was a great atmosphere too. So it was packed. Flyover was cool to start the game and all of that. And yeah, just what a way to start the year.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to just before we break down this upcoming game, uh, you both didn't really get a chance to give our audience your thoughts on the most recent game against Buffalo. Uh, I said that they're a pretty good team. They look solid. John, I think, was right. I think that this team really has a good shot at being MAC champions. They got some studs. They played well, and I wish them luck the rest of the season. But Curdy, you were at the game, like you said. Tell us what you saw, what your thoughts were. You mentioned you were a little worried. Break it down for us.
Well, I guess it just that first half, I thought, oh no, like our offense looks like the exact same as last year. Like it was kind of relying on Drake to move us down the field for the most part. Like there were some nice runs mixed in here and there, and I actually wasn't as down on the O line as I think a lot of people maybe were coming away from that game. But first half had me a little bit worried in like the fluke interception, and they hit that one big play, and things just got really tight. Right, it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter, but Drake Lindsay stepped up and made a big time throw there to I'm blanking on the freshman's name already. I should know it. Jalen Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then the place went nuts, and from there on, it felt pretty comfortable. But um, here's what I'll say about the O line. It wasn't like a good game necessarily by them, but the O line, like I felt like last year there were times where they just got straight up beat, and there was like a lot of negative plays outside of the Jamison Gears tush push towards the start of the game. There wasn't like a ton of people flying into the backfield and just like blowing up Darius in the backfield or anything like that. Or like I know Darius ran through a lot of contact, and I'm downplaying Darius's performance. He was awesome. I mean his hustle play to take down the guy on the pick six, him picking up the blitz on the long touchdown pass, like he did everything he could ask for, and then also ran over 100 yards and was, caught the ball and had a few nice catches too. So he was fantastic. But I thought the O line, like starting point, look at where they started off last year and this year. Like I thought it was definitely a stronger start this year as far as like maybe they didn't get as much push as you were hoping for, but there wasn't like a ton of negative plays happening because of a missed block or something. And I thought Greg Johnson looked really good back at left guard. And this Buffalo defense was known for creating negative plays, right? Like this is what they did a lot last year really well, and they returned like 9 or 8 starters. And so to not see a ton of negative plays happen, and that Murdoch linebacker, really good player. He was as advertised. So yeah, I'm not saying the O line doesn't have a lot of room to grow and get better. They definitely do. But overall, I was really happy with the performance as a whole, I think, for the first game. And Drake Lindsay, man, I mean, I've seen enough. I'm all in. Like I get why they were hyping him up so much. Every throw was just I mean, you always hear arm talent. I feel like Drake Lindsay is the first quarterback we've seen that's had like arm talent like that. The ball just gets downfield quick. Really, only 2 bad plays I thought and they were both back to back, the almost pick and um the sack taking there at the before half. But our kicker bailed us out. Yeah, I mean, and then the D line and the defense in general just dominated outside of that one drive. So that was really good to see. They didn't play a ton of snaps because they kept getting 3-and-outs, but I mean, that's kind of what you want early on. So they'll be playing plenty. I mean, everyone's shouting Anthony Smith's praises as they should. He was a monster, but Devin Eastern, man, inside was noticeable. Felt like anything they tried in between the tackles, he was at least getting half a tackle, and they were trying to double him as much as they could too. So all around great game. Special teams fantastic. One of the best special teams games of PJ's career. So that's just a broad. I thought the team overall played pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and like Dave commented too, I mean, a lot of these MAC schools played some teams pretty tough, so it could have been worse or it could have looked worse. But I mean, Buffalo's a solid team, especially out of the MAC. I mean, we talked about it going in, and I think John is right. I think they're a team that should expect to compete for a MAC championship. And I mean, they proved it. They definitely had some struggles on offense, but I think they can work it out. They do have some talented skill players like that Victor Snow, and they kept showing him on TV. He was getting so frustrated because he wasn't getting the ball, and then you see him just completely burn. I think it was Kerry Brown in that double move.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's a guy that's just gonna make some explosive plays. So they've got those playmakers on offense. And like you mentioned, Red Murdoch, and the dude was everywhere. He's just a monster. And you mentioned the offensive line. I feel like at first I was a little bit more concerned as it didn't look the way I would have hoped, I guess, against a MAC school. But watching it back, I mean, that's a sound front seven that we went up against. And like you said too, and I had the exact same takeaways. We weren't ever physically beaten. It was maybe an assignment that was missed or just something didn't happen quite as fast as it needed to be. But I mean, our guys, especially our young guys, especially Nathan Roy, he was holding his own on one, especially in pass pro. So a lot of positives to take away from the offensive line play. Jamison Gears, your guy, Kurt, making some big plays. That touchdown catch was awesome. There was a couple drops mixed in there, but I feel like it all kind of balanced itself out. I feel like they always happen on critical, like third down throws.
Well, what
stinks
is I think both of his were like back-to-back drives or something. So he
yeah,
had a great first half, and then especially the first one that was kind of down the field more. That one
right.
was just like, come on, man. But a lot of
But he
people. I mean,
showed
Jeremiah Smith dropped like 2 or 3 balls in his game too. So I'm just saying, like, I get it because he had that issue last year, but maybe hopefully it was just like a first game jitters thing for a lot of the team because
right.
Smith and a couple other guys had some drops too. But
Yeah, no, and I think that's my takeaway is I think we're all going to remember those because they happen later in the game. But some of those catches, and especially the contested catches he had earlier on, I think do highlight his upside and his physicality and just his
he makes
ability to
all the
make
hard
those
plays.
plays.
I feel like it's
Right.
it's like the touchdown catch. The guy was all over him. He can
Right.
do that like athletic jump separation move that not every tight end can do. And yeah, it's just the easy ones. But he's so close.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to be a big part of this offense moving forward. So hopefully they can get that cleaned up. I do want to shift gears a little bit on my tone. I didn't think Greg Harbaugh had a great game, to be honest. And I get it was Buffalo, so maybe we weren't showing a ton. The run plays, I don't know how to describe it. The running game just looks off slightly so far under Greg Harbaugh. Like, not just taking this game, but just thinking back, like, I don't feel like the run game and the run formations really correlated or set up anything with the passing game. Like, the passing game, I kind of get, right? Like, we saw a lot of tight end action over the middle, which then kind of eventually set up the Jalen Smith deep touchdown because I think it was Biber that came open over the middle and the safety came up and we hit the receiver behind him for the long play. But I don't know, like I didn't feel like the run plays feel random, and I don't know. Like it was early, so maybe it felt like more random plays and formations out of the running game that didn't really look in sync with the passing game at times. And then the red zone play calling was honestly terrible. Like we ran fades every time. And since the Jameson Gears touchdown, they were double covering the fades each time. Like it was still a terrible decision by Lindsey to throw that ball. I don't know if you could see if they showed a replay of like the whole field, We literally, that whole play, which we had a timeout, and like what were we on, like the 9 or 11 or 14, something like that. We had a timeout with like 14 seconds left, and I'm like, okay, perfect. Let's work it over the middle again, get a quick stop, and then you can take your shots to the end zones from there. We ran these two fades that were both double covered, and our only other route was just I think the fullback Bierman was just in the flat, like, and that was it. And yeah, he should have probably thrown it to the flat or away, but I was just like, you got to be kidding me! Like everyone knew what was coming, including Buffalo, and they just sat on it. So hopefully that's just more of a case of them not wanting to show a lot. But I don't know. I
Sure.
mean, it's a perfect opportunity to work on your red zone offense, and
Yeah.
I would wanted to see a little bit more.
Yeah. 4 trips with a touchdown, 2 field goals, and that turnover when Gears got stuffed on 4th and inches. Not really sure how I feel about that 4th and inches call. Yeah, you get Gears, who's a big bodied guy who probably can pump his legs up front, but I'd almost rather just do like a wildcat with Darius Taylor instead of putting Gears under center. But regardless, first games, you're going to try out a little bit of everything. And I wanted to ask you both too, because I agree with the Harbaugh offense, especially with the running game. How much do you guys think it is play calling and versus the offensive line? Because I felt like it took up until the fourth quarter for that O line to really kind of gel and get it into gear.
Probably, I mean, maybe a little bit of both. I I think the biggest thing, like you said, Kurt, where the running game looked a little bit random and just wasn't setting up anything at the pass game, but it's like you had all summer and multiple weeks to prepare for this one game. I think that's the advantage to week one. And I know the offense is usually a little bit behind of the defense, but the play calling itself doesn't need to be behind, right? Like the execution might not be there. And I think the execution was there on most plays. But like you said, there just wasn't a good rhythm or a good flow till the very end of the game. I think when we had that like 9 minute drive to just put the game on ice, which we finally looked like the play calling was like in a rhythm. So I think it had a little bit more to do with the play call than the offensive line. And maybe they saw something that we didn't that was, making them shift gears on things. But yeah, I mean, it did feel a little bit clunky, or like there just wasn't much of a plan going in. They're just kind of searching for what's going to work, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and just stuff like running our speed back. Is it AJ Turner? I always forget these
Yeah,
guys' news name. I'll get there eventually, guys. Like 6 carries, I thought it was looked okay. Like he ran hard, but he too many of his runs were in between the tackles. Like I don't know if they just set the edge good, but I would have liked to see him get more in space. Like his last carry was a nice little toss where he picked up a first down. More of that, or like more screens or something to him, just because you can tell how fast, and he's looking to run a million miles an hour. It's just like we were just running him, and it wasn't even like poorly blocked. It's just like that guy weighs what looks like 180, like 170 pounds compared to what Darius looks like out there. So it's just, I don't know. I think strategic usage of the backs could have been a little bit better as well. Um, Again, I mean, Darius was great. I have no complaints of how Darius was used, especially, I saw some people, and we talked about it a little bit in the group chat during the game about how often he was getting carries down the final 9 minute drive or whatever it was to close out the game. Listen, I'm okay with it if he doesn't have another 20 plus touches this next week, which he shouldn't by any means against Northwestern State. Like, I get like the mentality of setting, like, because PJ kind of alluded to it, like wanting to set and see what your team could do. Like last year, they couldn't run out the clock and ice away games, and to like put the starters out there for the majority of that and to try and get it done, something to build on. I kind of got it, and I wasn't really upset with how they handled that last drive. It worked out pretty well. There's one other thing with regards to play calling I was going to mention in the run game, and it's getting away from me. So you go ahead and jump back in, Shuddy or Max, if you got something else. But
I guess just to go back to the tush push play, just to address that too. PJ did say, and it doesn't even make sense, but it basically sounded like he and Harbaugh thought they was like 4th and inches, and then the spot was really like fourth and a yard and a half. And he was saying in the press conference, like, I don't know why I didn't just call a timeout because it just didn't look right, didn't feel right. And then he just let the play happen. So just a week one blunder for the
Yeah.
coach too. I don't know. And
We've
even if it was
gotten in his
4
head
inches, I
about,
don't know if he would have gotten it.
yeah, I don't think he gained anything. That was like the O-line's worst play, but again, like it is what it is. Like it was
Yeah,
literally like the second or third drive. But
right.
what I was gonna say is like the Buffalo clearly watched our tape last year, especially from early on, because what they were doing is like they were just showing the 2-eye safety, and so we got up there and Drake would look around and make the correct check like of run, but every time that safety was then just coming in and crashing in. So I feel like some of those plays, again, the O line can always do better, and you're always hoping they do better, especially against like a MAC team, but it wasn't like we were constantly running with like numbers in the box or anything. Like a lot of times there was more defenders there than blockers. So um, that was the only thing. It's like we're still late to adjusting to that, and I do think part of that is them just trying to get the O line to play through that, because that's going to happen to you randomly throughout Big Ten games as well as safeties crashing hard at the line. So probably just wanted to see their O line kind of feel it out and test it out, but yeah, I'm always harder on Arbo, I guess I feel, than the average Gopher fan. Which, hey, we are passing the ball better than we have in a long time. So, and Drake Lindsay looks legit, right? Got to give Harbaugh credit there for getting him ready for his first game. Yeah, I mean, Lindsay and the running back room are like, but especially Lindsay, just because we didn't know what to expect with the redshirt freshman. Like, I'm not even worried about him now. Like, yeah, he might make a couple mistakes here and there, but I felt so good about what we saw from him. It's just receivers just
I agree.
gotta play a little bit better. Here's what I want to bring up, because he talked about it a little bit in his post game press conference about how Coy, I believe, had 7 or 8 offensive snaps, and they all happened right away, including with him getting the first catch. So it's like, okay, so Coy is like, they feel is like one of their top 2 receivers on the team. Then as the game went on, though, he never really got back out there, and I think he was kind of asked about that, and PJ said, well, we needed him on defense too, especially with the game going on and it getting close, like wanted him out there on defense. So it's like, okay, so is he only playing offense when we feel like we don't need him, or is he just covering, like, I don't know if he got dinged up or if they're just like, nah, we don't really need it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just odd to be in such a close game and to have Coy start basically the first quarter, being one of the main guys out there, to then not seeing him, I don't really think at all out there at the end. So I don't know. I just found that a little interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was them just saying, "See, told you he's part of this offense
Yeah.
too,"
I mean, the
or
logic behind PJ's answer did make sense, which isn't
right.
that
Right.
surprising, but
Yeah. But I'm happy to see him get wrinkled in. He's obviously got talent. Uh but I am honestly happy that he did only kind of touch the field just briefly before playing strictly defense. But yeah, once we get into like big games where we need a little wrinkle, some special package, it'd be nice to see him get in there and hopefully contribute to like a series that gets in the end zone.
I had a one more receiver take here for you guys, and if you agree, great. But if not, feel free. I came away wanting to see more of Javon Tracy. I thought overall, I know he didn't have the big touchdown, but I thought when he was out there, he just looked noticeable. I thought he was open a lot on all of his routes, and he's got some really good athletic ability, and he's bigger than I thought. For some reason, I was picturing like a smaller guy, just with everyone talking about like his athleticism and quickness, but got a decent frame to him out there, and he kind of looks like a little bit different build, but kind of similar to Elijah Spencer. Just he's got big shoulders out there to go up and get the football, but I think he's got maybe a little bit more quickness to him too. So um, for me, I would like to see more of him out there. And I know we played a lot of 3 tight end, 2 tight end sets, so a lot of receivers didn't play as much as we thought they would, but I thought he looked good. Jalen Smith, if he just catches the ball, had a great day. He did all the hard stuff again. It just got to catch the ball. And I thought Logan Loya would play more, but he looks like they're using him strictly as a slot guy. So he'll only probably be out there, I guess, when there's 3 receivers. And it was good to see Lemecki get his annual like 20-yard catch or whatever it was, and then never really target him again. But
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Tracy's definitely got some run after the catch ability. He broke a few tackles, and he's kind of got that explosive athleticism that I feel like last year the receivers were really good, but we didn't have that like extra. Okay, once he gets the ball in his hands, he's still going to make something else happen. Like Daniel
Right.
Jackson wasn't a burner; he wasn't going to break a bunch of tackles. Elijah Spencer could maybe truck a guy, but he wasn't always in a position to be like running with the ball in his hands either. So if we can add that to the mix too, I mean that's going to be huge. Plus with Lindsey, I mean I heard the stat that his average depth of target, like how far down the field he's throwing it, was like over I think it was 11 yards. So he's throwing the ball over 10 yards just as often than he's throwing it under 10 yards, and that's not
Right.
something we're used to seeing. And the way, like you said earlier, Kurt, his arm talent. I mean, we were told Ethan was going to have arm talent. Ethan had a very strong arm. I don't know if you'd call it arm talent because he wouldn't really like layer the ball and he didn't make the best decisions either.
Right.
Lindsey, I thought Lindsey looked better in this first game than Max did last year in his first game.
Oh,
Like he didn't look
100%.
jittery. He didn't make any like the one throw in double coverage and the sack. Obviously, in the red zone, like you said, were freshman mistakes, but you kind of expect that. But he makes up for it by just his poise in the pocket. He was taking hits and he's still making throws. Like the kid looks
Listen,
good.
yeah, Brosmer was a super. I'm so glad he was here last year. Clearly, Max Drake learned a lot from Max. Um, but it took two drives to see that Lindsey is immensely more talented, in my opinion, as far as like physical capabilities. And I know that Brosmer was more of a like cerebral quarterback, and not that Drake can't make reads either. But it's just like, yeah, the that throw that Jalen Smith ended up bobbling, but like the
Yeah.
out route,
Yeah.
that was crazy. Like our seats were on that side, and just like watching the ball come towards your side, the sideline like that, and just be like right there for him. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a Gopher quarterback place a ball like that from. I think it was the opposite hash. Like that's when you see like the NFL guys make, like the really good ones make on a consistent basis, and that was just like
Yeah.
perfect, just a laser. Like everything he throws, it's just instantly on the receiver, like in a good way. Not like he's gunning at 1,000 miles per hour, but like it doesn't take him long to get the ball to the guys going down the field, which is nice. That's just an advantage we didn't have last year. So
Yeah. And even the Jalen Smith non-catch in the back of the end zone where he was just out of bounds, like the way he just
oh
dropped it in only where he could catch it. And
yeah,
if his foot is an inch more inside, I mean,
yeah.
that too is like that's so impressive, especially in your first game.
I thought Jalen Smith reminded me a lot of like, it's probably a bad comparison because he's actually a combination of both. He's like not quite as fast as Rashad Bateman, but he's also got some. Like I thought his route running was impressive already. Like he looked like a little like a perfect combo of Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman, where he's not quite as fast as Rashad Bateman, but he's quicker than Tyler Johnson was, but he ran more
Right.
crisper routes like Tyler Johnson, So had a couple drops like Tyler did early on too. But we'll fix that, and that's who he
Yeah.
reminded me of. But I'm excited for
Yeah.
both those guys. And then before we move on, sorry, Spencer.
Yeah.
Defensively, I just want to say because I've questioned this position group, I thought Devin Williams overall looked really good last night. The linebackers in general looked good. The young guy, Emmanuel Carmel, um, his speed showed in like the very few snaps he got it, but he looked great. And then Carter Menz, the D end, who I kind of forgot about to be honest, coming into the year. I thought he looked really good, along with Jackson Howard looking good. So I feel really good about the front four, and I'm glad some of those depth guys got to play at D tackle. It'll be interesting to see who emerges there behind that front four D lineman. But just want to give a shout out to a couple guys that we had question marks on it and had a really good opening game.
Very solid inaugural game for Danny Collins, I thought. Defensively, I thought they played tremendously. So keep it up. Um, but yeah, with that, fellas, let's break down this next game. The Northwestern State Demons. Max and I were talking about this before we went on air here. Uh, Last week they played Alcorn State. first win in like 1,000+ days, something crazy like that for them. They
Snapped a
stormed the
20
field.
game losing streak.
Yeah, that is impressive. And I'm happy for them that they got that done. They come here to play the Gophers this Saturday at 11 a.m. Uh, let's just kind of break down this Northwestern team. What can they do offensively?
Well, it looks like, I mean, their quarterback led them in rushing. I believe he was first or second in rushing attempts for them as well. And also had, I think it was 86 yards passing, 90 yards passing. I don't have it up in front of me anymore, but it wasn't a lot. But he looks like to be the main focal point of the offense. I think he's a younger guy for them as well. So that'll be the guy the Gophers have to stop. And listen, I'm gonna be honest. I think we're gonna murder this kid. Like, not physically. I just think he's gonna get the crap beat out of him. Seeing what we did to an offensive line in Buffalo, who I know, like, Buffalo's a MAC team, so they should have probably had a stronger game, and they did. Now we're going to the FCS level. So Devin Eastern, Anthony Smith. I don't want to see him play a lot, to be honest. I want him to get out there, punish him early, maybe a couple series, but like this game should be in hand pretty quickly as long as you aren't hammered by kickoff. Like it should be okay. Like so I'm excited to get depth guys out there. I know this is very cocky, but like I mean, I don't know if they're even going to release a spread for this. Iowa just played an FCS school in Albany, who's sorry about my dog, who's a lot better than this Northwestern State team, and they were still 35-point favorites. So defense should dominate.
Yeah, this that full game between Elkhorn State and Northwestern State is actually on YouTube. I thought I would give it a quick look and just see what we're dealing with, and I had to turn it off because it was that bad. And Northwestern State won. They actually it's going to be it, the score is not going to indicate like how much we dominated them because it could be 50-0 and we could play the worst game of football we've ever played. Like it's basically going to be Gophers versus Gophers, and it's going to be seeing what the depth looks like. It's going to be keeping guys fresh and just get in there and get out because yeah, it's not great. Like you said, the quarterback was running for his life against Alcorn State, and they lost to this team. So it's not going to be a good day for them or a fun day for the Demons, especially defensively. It seemed like they have like no size even on the defensive side of the ball. So I'll be curious to see what the offensive line can do against this team, coming off playing a solid Buffalo team that had some physicality and had some talent. This team lacks both, and yeah, it's literally going to be a matter of just try some things out and let's just get to halftime and get the second team in there.
I don't want Darius Taylor to have more than like 10 carries. Like there's just no point. I mean, he might truck through all of them by himself, but like I just let's get that redshirt freshman that they're so high in some work. My prediction is I was going to say this for a little bit, but my bold prediction is that redshirt freshman, who's technically RB4, is going to be the leading rusher in this game because that's how quickly I think we're going to take care of some guys. You can, I mean, let Drake get out there and still read the defense, make the throws, get your points in, like get 3 scoring drives in within the first quarter and a half or whatever it's going to take. I don't know how long the drives are going to be. I feel like we're going to probably break off some bigger plays if the starters are out there early on. But yeah, I mean, I think they're just. It's a spring game. I said it in our Gopher happy hour. Like this is the closest thing you're going to get to a spring game. Like except you get to go full speed and hit somebody in a different color jersey because they're not good.
Yeah. And to Max's point, kind of looking defensively, this Northwestern team defense. You know, Alcorn State outgained Northwestern State, um, and Alcorn State just had three turnovers, and um, it was just bad football all around, I think, unfortunately. So long as the Gophers avoid the worst meltdown in the history of college football, maybe, uh, they should probably win. They do give up, last year, they gave up 241.8 rushing yards per game. So if they're anything close to that, like last year, I don't see how, our running backs just have a day. I would like
Yeah.
to see just to gain confidence out of Drake Lindsay, although it seems like he has that confidence already, but just to get a little more under his belt. But frankly, I don't know if that'll be even worth it or if we
I'm
should
gonna say
see it.
like seeing him sit back and throw it like at least 20 times. I don't know how much you're gonna get off of that. Like
Right,
maybe just like building more, getting more in sync with your receivers out there. But I don't know. I don't think it's like gonna be super developmental for the team.
right.
Honestly, I hope they spend time prepping for Cal this week. Like I think they maybe spend the first day, look at what they did last week, and then go from there. Yeah, is Cal a team we should worry about, or is Oregon State just really that bad? It's too tough to tell, but I would say even if Oregon State was bad, that true freshman looked really impressive for Cal. So, um, I'm not expecting to just go out there and blow them out. I'm still confident. They lost so much, right? But again, I mean, Oregon State, that's not a scrub. I don't know what they're supposed to do this year, but like in recent years, they've had decent teams, but I don't know. Too tough to tell, but like I said, I would rather be, I would be watching Cal State and preparing for them over Northwestern State. And I know that's very confident and cocky for a Gopher fan to say, but I keep bringing it up. Even Iowa, who didn't look very strong offensively at times and was down at one point to their FCS school, uh, they just said, "All right, let's just run the ball now," and they ran for I think like 350 yards and blew them out of the water. And Iowa's a great offensive line, so I'm not saying we can automatically just do that. I'm just mean our opponent's even worse. So a
We
lot,
should
a
be
lot
able
would
to do it.
have to go wrong for this to be close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, close in this game is like 20, 30 points.
Yeah,
Like, it's not good. One of the, I mean, yeah, Northwestern State won 20-10. One of their touchdowns was because Alcorn State couldn't stop taking penalties as a punt unit, got backed up, and then the snap went over the punter's head because he wasn't lined up in the right spot because
yeah,
he lost where he was on the field after all the penalties.
right, right.
And then as he's running back, he can't even kick the ball out of the back of the end zone for a safety. Northwestern State jumps on it. Like
So
their offense
that,
didn't
that
even score.
right. So that's the point. Like, okay, as long as you don't self-inflict yourself, but also I'm sure PJ will use it. Like, look at what happens when you do self-inflicted
Right.
wounds out there, right? Like, I mean, is that gonna be enough for the Gophers to lose to them? Probably not. But you don't want to even entertain that idea. So
Right.
yeah, I want a clean game. Like you can always, if anything, right? Like pass rushers, offensive line should be continuing to work on technique, and you don't want to see a lot of penalties, especially against an FCS school. So yeah, just a
Yeah.
clean game, get out not injured, and let the young guys see what they can do. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Right. But yeah, I mean, to do that, you got to take it seriously, and then you might be thinking about being done by the end of the second quarter, like because you took it seriously and
Yeah, Matt being
took
banged
care of
up
business.
last game, don't want to see him play. Like, let's just let the young guys
Yeah.
play because Devin Eastern is like the only dominant D tackle. I wouldn't mind if he got rested either. I'm just saying, like, I know people got to play, and you want to set the
Right.
tone. You don't want to, but and Darius got like 30 some touches last game. A nice strong workload to start the season. I don't need to see him get more than. I don't even need to see him get 10 touches. Like 7 carries sounds good. Get him a couple touchdowns on the board and continue
Right.
on.
Yeah, for sure.
Stash says, very impressed with Drake in that first outing. Not saying all their games are the same, but Drake reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger. I think their physical stature is similar. Yeah, Drake's a big kid, but he also does move well in the pocket. I thought he showed some, maybe not quite Roethlisberger level yet of moving in the pocket, but yeah, no, Drake's not a statue back there at all. And he does look, you know, my grandpa loves how big these players can be. And he was always talking about how big Drake Lindsay was all the way up to the season. I'm like, yeah, I know. But then actually seeing him out there, it's like, yeah, he is a big kid. He's a big guy out there. Like it looks like the ball gets out of his hand like right to his receiver. So it's fun to watch, and yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Well, let's end this segment with our keys to the game and score predictions. My keys are simple. One, let's try and not get any penalties this game. Two, no turnovers this game either. And three, run up the score in like the first quarter and then get your backups in the game. No injuries. Gophers win 49-0.
Predicting the shutout. It's tough to disagree with that. I mean, yeah, my 3 keys would be no turnovers. Special teams continue to excel. I don't know how much we'll be punting, but I enjoyed seeing our punter out there the few times he did get out there. He did a good job. And my third key would be, yeah, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So I want to get the backups in nice and early. Have them fly around out there and make some plays. I will say, like, if anybody could use more just rep work, I wouldn't mind just more corners getting out there and seeing what we got at cornerback, just covering guys. So that's something you can always take the reps at too. So I guess my emphasis would be on the DB coverage situation. But again, I don't know. I mean, they threw for 90 yards last week, so I don't know how much they're going to be able to test us, but we'll see. Oh, my final score. Yeah, I debated back and forth. Here's my thought process. Maybe the backups fumble or something, and they get points off of that. So I was gonna do like 50. I was going 56-3, something weird. I feel weird taking that many points for the Gophers. I just think the first half, if we're playing, AJ Turner, Darius, and the starting like 5 or 6 receivers, I think any of those guys have the capability to break a big play against this team. So I feel like we're going to see some big play touchdowns this week.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, my keys to the game is really just number one, stay fresh. I mean, I'm fine with the starters playing throughout the game or the first half of the game, but I do want to see a good rotation. Even if it's at the offensive line, like I'm glad we saw the whole unit stay together and play out the whole game against Buffalo. But like, I mean, I wouldn't hate to see guys just rotate in, just to see what they look like, get them some reps, see what they can do. Yeah, for sure. And guys that we might need to see at some point too. Like I don't want their first game coming at Iowa. Like that's if we can avoid that. So just keep everyone fresh. Like you mentioned, I don't want to see Mav out there. I don't want to see anyone who was banged up out there. And really just, I think the goal needs to be get the starters out by halftime. Like it should be 40-0 at halftime. And that like this team is that bad. I mean, I actually we beat Rhode Island last year 48-0, and Rhode Island is a far superior team to Northwestern State. So I'm thinking we're up big at halftime. I think the final score is going to be like 52-0. I'm hoping maybe we see like how far our field goal kicker can kick it at the end of the first half or something, just to see what he can do. I doubt they're going to do that intentionally or try to set that up, but yeah, I think that's the only field goal attempt we'd need to see. I think it's just going to be an onslaught of offense. Hopefully we can create some turnovers. I don't think we had any turnovers last game. So
special teams at the end of the first half, they got one. They forced
a fumble
on that kickoff.
That's right.
Yeah. It was literally so strong. Everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that because the ball popped out and it was like, oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny we like guys we didn't even talk about for just like last week. Like, we did talk about an offense, but like Coy. I mean, how Coy's one punt return, man. If he would have bounced it right, I mean, I don't blame him for cutting in, but if he could have somehow got outside the guy that made him cut back, he would have been gone. There was nobody there. So to get 18 yards returned on a punt, I know that's not like I'm still
Yeah.
not used to us being able to just go out and get that when it's there as a punt return unit. So Coy is the
Right.
return man. You love to see it. Yeah. I just a lot of guys had a really good game, and I'm just trying to name them all off.
Right. Hey, I'll say something positive about Northwestern State is apparently their punter is decent. I think he won some player of the week in whatever conference
So
they are in.
Coy's going to get some work, or whoever the
You hope
return man
so.
is.
Yeah. And maybe that helps. The offense is going to be starting drives inside the 20 and they can just rack
That's
up
right.
more yards. I don't know. We got one more comment here. Spangstash says, I'd like to see Mason Carrier get some reps. I think he had the hit forced fumble on a kickoff coverage play
Oh,
late versus Buffalo.
nice.
So he forced it. Okay.
I
Was he not out there at all on defense? I thought I saw him
I
once, but
don't
maybe
think
it was
so.
special teams.
Maybe it's tough to tell from the stands sometimes. I didn't notice. I noticed Kingsbury out there a lot. Gerlach was out there. Gerlach. Um, anyway, the Camaro guy. So I'm glad you brought up Mason Carey because I kind of forgot about him because it sounds like he was banged up leading up until the season through most of like their post spring into summer ball, like their 2.5 weeks of practice leading up to the first game. Sounds like he was banged up. So I'd love to see Mason Carey up there. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot of Kingsbury though, just if Mav's banged up. There seems like he's the guy that's next in that spot right now. Oh, the
Right.
other thing, did the transfer from Oklahoma State play at all? Because I know he got banged up late into practice as well. Roberson?
Not
I
that
don't
I
think he did.
noticed.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back. I know they posted all the snap counts. I'd have to look back and see, but if he did, he didn't do a whole lot.
Yeah. One guy that I I didn't even realize was out there till I saw you guys talking about it in the group chat is Lanier, the receiver, was out there for
Oh
like
yeah.
he played like 30 snaps. And I don't think he got a single target, but
Yeah, I think he was like majority out there for run blocking essentially. But
yeah. Well, so was
Well,
Rocky, so
right. Well, yeah, I think it's a 3-for-3 win. Gophers will go 2-0 after this week, headed into week against Cal. Um, so yeah, that's on a good note. On kind of a more sour note here, it's our weekly favorite thing that you like to tune in. That's the Sky U Pod Parlay of the week. We didn't
oh.
do very well in week one, fellas. But it's week one. It's kind of hard to gauge scores, teams, how they're gonna do. So I am confident that this week we'll
Indiana's
play
dead to me,
pretty
by the
well.
way. They got caught playing with their food. They had
Hey,
the chance. They had
Old
the chance there
Dominion
to take
man,
the
just
cover.
don't,
Old Dominion.
They
just
had the
don't
chance
never.
there to take the cover and kick a field goal. They went for it, got stopped, and then gave up the touchdown. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm sorry,
yeah,
listeners.
I am too.
Tulane was
Roll
pissed that
wave.
they couldn't wear their
Dude,
uniforms
what
for
a
Katrina.
bizarre story that was.
That is.
Yeah.
Why
Is
would you
that?
say no to that?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think it's
for those that don't
true?
know,
Yeah.
that
I
was the
believe I
coach
don't
talking
know.
about it. So
That's what the coach
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
And
So for those that
I'd
don't
imagine as
know,
someone like in the AD department that declined it, it wouldn't be like the staff, right?
right. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't know. For those that don't know, there was that story that came out after the Tulane game. Like the Tulane coach took some shots at Northwestern because they felt disrespected. I think is basically what they're saying because they wanted to wear their white uniforms at home because it was the 20th anniversary from Katrina, and that's what they did in that season opener, I believe is what the story was. So they wanted to pay homage to that and do their whites again at home. And Northwestern being the road team, they have the right to wear the whites at home, and they told Tulane, no, we're wearing our whites at home, that they can't wear their whites. And so that kind of got Tulane fired up, and they just kind of crushed Northwestern. I will say Northwestern's defense, like Northwestern's defense wasn't terrible that game. It was just the 4 picks thrown by Preston Stone and the defense playing the whole game. Like I don't think their defense. I don't think Northwestern was just like looked like a total garbage team. It was a total garbage performance, but the defense just was a solid unit. I'll say that for Northwestern.
Right.
But yeah, no, they got their butts kicked.
Yeah. With that, Curdy, why don't you go first? You already let us know your teams. Go ahead and let everyone know who you got today.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I almost took Max's. I'm gonna leave it for him. We kind of found another one we like. I like Ole Miss in a revenge game, minus 10.5 against Kentucky. Kentucky, who wasn't that strong of a team last year, tripped them up in a really sloppy game. Lane Kiffin is definitely the type of coach that holds grudges. So, and I believe Ole Miss, Kentucky is a slight rival. I could be mistaken on that, but obviously conference matchup. But I think they're also somewhat rivals in football. But anyway, give me Ole Miss to avenge its loss from last year. A team that SEC hype media would have you believe that has a chance to make the playoff again, or they didn't make it last year, but has the chance to make the playoff this year as well, as having that hype last year. So it's supposed to be a good team. I like them to put up enough points to cover that spread, so I'll take Ole Miss minus 10.5.
Like it. Max?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Illinois minus the. It's going back and forth between 2.5 and 3. We'll just call it Illinois minus 3. At Duke,
I saw 2.5 just
two and a
now.
half.
If you want that,
All right, we'll take it. I don't know. I think Duke's solid. I know they have Mensa from Tulane last year. Tricky game going on the road early, but I just feel like Illinois is a solid team. I think Bielema's got something cooking. I know everyone's thinking like, is Illinois going to be as good as they were last year? Tough when you lose the talented wide receivers, but they still have Altmaier. They still have one of the best offensive lines in the country, and the defense is always great. So I'm going to take Illinois to win by at least 3. I don't know. Well,
yeah.
Unless Duke surprises us, but I think this is really on Illinois to just come away with the win.
Yeah, I like it. I like both of your picks. I just hope you'll like this one.
Can I make
I
a
got.
prediction? I could be dead wrong. I feel like you pick this game every year as a lot. Are you going Iowa State versus Iowa?
I'm not. No, it's
Okay.
too. It's too worrisome. Yeah, no, but I'm going with old reliable though. USC, the Trojans. They are playing Georgia Southern at home at 6:30 on Saturday, I believe. USC, they are 28.5 point favorites. Give me the Trojans to cover it. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of points. However, last week when they played Missouri State, they won 73-13. I think that they can win by that many points. They'll probably give up points per usual, but I think that offense will just be firing on all cylinders, and they can cover the 28.5. So give
Hey,
me USC.
I like that, especially now that I looked at they were just at Fresno last week and got smoked. So I like that pick. They lost 42-14 to Fresno State. So you'd like to think that USC can do that as well. So
They were at Fresno last week too. Like they had to travel back and forth from Georgia.
well, yeah, I think so.
Man.
Maybe they stayed out there for the week. I don't know that travel. You would think
Forget school.
so.
We're staying here.
But
Yeah,
they were
that's tough.
at Fresno, lost 42-14. So I guess that's USC's got to do slightly better than that. But then
Right.
now they're at USC.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, give me the Trojans. And there you have it, folks. I really do think that's going to be a 3-for-3 winner. So all in and win that money. Um, go Gophs, go Sky U Pod.
Really quick,
Um,
I
yeah.
just I'm going to mention this because I have it up in front of me. Kurt, you've picked the Cyhawk game the last 2 years as your lock.
Oh my! How did it go?
You took the under 2 years ago and won. Last year you took Iowa and lost.
Uh, so that okay. So I had a stat ready to share because I thought Spencer's going this game. The last 10 matchups, Iowa State's been favored, which they are this week. They're 9-1 against Iowa. At least that's what someone tweeted out. Maybe it was sarcastic, but I'm sharing that now. I didn't even know I didn't look into it, but we'll say it was true. So that was my only tidbit I was going to throw out if you picked that
Yeah,
game, Spencer, for your lock. But
sure. Um, yeah, no, I thought about it, but I was like, I'm not touching this. Um, but yeah, let's get into picks here, fellas. And since we're on the topic, we might talk about Iowa and Iowa State. Iowa State is at home. They're 3.5 point favorites. I'm gonna go with the Cyclones. I think historically I always go with Iowa because they were kind of always like the Iowa versus Minnesota. Iowa just always found a way to win. But I think this Iowa State team is looking pretty good. I think they have a shot at Big 12 championship title. Um, and watching Iowa briefly last week, I wasn't super impressed. They still got quarterback question marks. They're good pretty much everywhere else, but this Iowa State team looks pretty good otherwise in all areas. So I'm gonna go with the Cyclones.
everything you said is correct. Iowa just really hates losing to these guys, obviously, and they did blow that one last year. I just think Iowa is good enough at least to cover that spread. Like if they lose, I feel like it's going to be another 1 point loss. So, and they can run the ball. They should be able to run the ball. I don't know if they can do other stuff to go with that or not. Their quarterback struggled in his debut, but I just don't. I'm going to pick against Iowa in hopes I can just jinx them and Iowa State wins.
So which one are you taking?
I'm taking Iowa to cover.
Okay.
I think
I
that's a
got you.
good pick.
Yeah. I feel like that's the right choice, like historically in this
Right.
matchup, but I'm also going to take the Cyclones at home. If it was at Kinnick, I would definitely think otherwise, but Iowa State's just, I don't know, they just kind of feel like they're in a groove. They got the extra game under their belt. They've had some time to work some things out. And Iowa just looked like they're figuring things out against Albany, which isn't what you want to do. Now you got to go to Ames, and
Right.
obviously it's a huge game for them. They'll get up for it, and Ferentz is always going to coach them very well. But I don't know. I think this one might be the Cyclones by a little more than a field goal. Plus, I heard I don't
Okay.
even know if this
I
is
hope
true. Did
so.
Iowa's running back get hurt, or was he out last game? I heard
He did
he
get
came
hurt
out,
at one point. Yeah, I don't
but I don't know if that was
know.
cautionary. Just
Yeah, that's what I assumed because I don't think it looked like like an ACL or anything. I think he just got banged
okay.
up type thing. So, but that's a good point. That's good. It's a good call. Okay, I
Um,
hate that game is on at the same time as Illinois at Duke though. Like those are two,
yeah.
and it's on at the same time
Yeah,
as the Gopher game. So I'm gonna have to have my Tri view up for sure.
Right. And that's the next game. Illinois is at Duke, and they're 2.5 point favorites.
It's
That is
Max's
Illinois.
lock. It's
Max is
Max's lock.
lock, and you picked Illinois, right, Max?
that's right.
I'm going Illinois
Uh,
too. I mean,
well,
it's a
me too. We
moneymaker,
don't
Let's
right?
we don't
ride.
pick against the Sky U
We're
Pod.
not going to pick against it,
Yeah,
right? So that's
Oh,
a
that's
three
not
for
pick
good.
against
three.
our own parlay.
um, so this next game, and granted, these 5 games we usually pick to you listeners out there, it's usually what we find the most intriguing games, the best games we think of the week. Um, this Oklahoma State Oregon game is very intriguing to me. I almost picked it as my Sky Pod parlay of the week because Oregon is 28.5 point favorites. I know Oklahoma State has been down in the, recently. It seemed that like Mike Gundy didn't really have control of his team because NIL and they wanted money and they got these QR codes in the back of their helmet for
Yeah.
donations, blah, blah, blah. And this Oregon team just looks like a formidable foe vying for a national championship. With that being said, I'm going to go with the Ducks. I don't know. I don't know this one. I just think the Ducks. I would like to think it'd be a closer game, with the classic Oklahoma State, but just based on the direction things have been going with Mike Gundy's team, I don't know if they can handle on the road at Autzen Stadium against the Ducks.
It scares the crap out of me, but I'm going to pick the Cowboys to cover just because it's that big of a spread. Really, for all the reasons you said. Like, I know they did struggle last year, but they can. I don't know. Gundy, like, if they pitch the message that they're being disrespected, maybe they can hang in there a little bit. I don't feel good about it at all, but just because of the amount of points, I'm going to take Oklahoma State. And they lose by the full 28.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's the winning side.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to take the Ducks as well. Oklahoma State, I really want them to be good again, but I think their starting quarterback also went out. He had like foot surgery after the game last week. So Oregon's going to put up points. And it's really like, can Oklahoma State keep up? And Oregon's defense is still pretty solid. So I was going to take Oregon. This one was on my list too as a possible lock just because of the Cowboys situation. Yeah. But they also have nothing else to lose. So Gundy's going to get him fired.
I already don't feel good about this.
It's okay. Next game, Kansas is on the road against Missouri. Missouri is 6.5 point favorites. Give me Mizzou. Oh, the Ohio podcast.
Big win, boys. 1-0 and ready to roll. Still rooting for you to go 11-1. Hey, you know what? I'd lock that in right now. Appreciate you, Ohio podcast. Of course, we'll see them early October. Hey, keep the offense the exact same for us as it was against Texas. That would be my one request. All right. All right. That's all I got. I mean, what are we gonna do? That'll be fun. Okay. I'm sorry. Where are we? Yeah, Kansas at Missouri. Daniels has the ability to win this game for Kansas or try and do too much and lose by 3 scores. It's at Missouri. It's on the road, so I don't feel great about it. I'm going to take Mizzou to cover that full touchdown and beat the Jayhawks in this one. Yeah, it's all I got, Eric.
Yeah. Hey, our quarterback might be better than Arch. I don't know. That's.
He played way better than Arch.
He did play better.
Again, I know the competition was different, but Arch looked like he struggled to throw the football further than 25 yards down the field. Like it didn't. Again,
till the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that dot, that was a good throw, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They should have ran him more. Like if you were Texas trying to win that game, I feel like you had to run Arch more than what they did. But
right.
Hey, I'm happy Ohio State won that one.
Yep. Man, this one, I don't know why it feels like the spread should be closer, and which feels like it should be Missouri. Then, like somebody knows something I don't, but I'm gonna take Kansas too, just because I feel like they could just pull out the upset. And yeah, like you said, Kurt, Daniels is kind of boomer bust. I don't know. Missouri, I think they had like a quarterback battle too, and the one guy got hurt, so now it's Prbula from Penn State. So I guess I don't know. I don't know if that's good for them or or not, but I will go with the
Yeah.
Jayhawks, who also have played 2 games already.
Right. All
Yeah,
right.
Arch looked bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Arch does the rest of the season. That's a pretty hard team to go up
Oh,
against on the road
He
for
seriously
your
looked like his
running game.
shoulder was hurt or something. Like he
Yeah,
just
he's
kept
like
doing
throwing
like
it
that.
sidearm. Like it
Yeah.
was I don't know if that's how he throws, but
and a shot at a former
Yeah.
twin. That's subtle, Eric. That is subtle.
What did he? Oh, yeah. Daniels plays well, leads Kansas to the win. Could he be an early Heisman candidate? Probably. I feel like he
Yeah.
was in that combo. Would that be 2 years ago when they beat Illinois? And he lit him up. I mean, he still had a good game against Illinois last year in the loss, but yeah, I mean, it's only week 1, right? But if he beat Missouri, not many quarterbacks have a better moment than that as far as putting up big numbers. Because all the quarterbacks that did pick up big wins, it wasn't hugely offensive games, really. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say for sure. And
Especially
playing
on
in the
the
Big
road.
12, he's going to get the numbers to back it up. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, fellas. In this last game, which I think is like probably the most intriguing game, I guess in this slate. It's Michigan against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma 5.5 point favorites. It's weird because Oklahoma, we know last year they weren't so good. Michigan also wasn't so good, but they seem to have the answer. They at least Michigan believes in their new quarterback. I don't know. Um, Gosh, yeah, the Ohio podcast chanting and go Sooners. Shocker there. I
I'll
don't
jump
know
in.
this one. I think I'm gonna have to go with Michigan. I think I'm gonna go with Michigan covering this. Oklahoma, I just don't really believe in them. They haven't really been the same Oklahoma over the past few years. Frankly, since joining the SEC. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go with Michigan, but I don't like the pick.
I'm going to take Oklahoma because of the environment. On the road, it's a huge game for the young quarterback. And it was a little up and down for them last week, even though they were clearly the better team. So I don't know. That's just going to be a tremendous atmosphere. It should be a great game. 5.5 is bigger than what I thought it was going to be
Right.
honest. So, but Michigan's O line, it looked like it kind of reloaded again. So, um, able to run the ball. So that'll be interesting. But if you can make it, put it on the quarterback. Is it Underwood? Lovewood? What is his name? Whatever. Probably
Yeah,
not
I
Lovewood.
think it's Underwood.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Sooners at home in that environment, and the SEC will be parading it around for the year. But that's all right.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the Sooners as well. You got your wish, Eric. I just think Mateer is a really solid quarterback that they got from Washington State. I think that's a guy that another dark horse Heisman candidate of Oklahoma can pull off some upsets. Um, Plus, Oklahoma's defense last year always looked solid with the offense that did struggle. So I don't know. It feels like Oklahoma to me just has more of the pieces kind of already there. Again, I agree with you a little bit, Spence. They haven't been what they used to be, and they still need to prove a little bit. But I think Michigan just has more bigger question marks and a true freshman going into Norman. That's tough. So I'll take Oklahoma. But the spread does surprise me a little bit that it is 5.5 already. I thought it'd be closer to
Right.
3, but
Maybe it's to
Yeah.
draw money in on Michigan, but we see through it, and we're going
right. Still under
Oklahoma.
the full
Right.
touchdown. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Right.
We shall see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And rest easy tonight. Now, two
I'm
of the
just
three
trying
at
to pick
Value
the right.
Pod are decent human beings. Just kidding, Spencer. Love the
Yeah.
show, guys. Keep it rolling. We appreciate you, Ohio Podcast. Again, there are Ohio State College Huddle affiliate pod. they're big time now. They got a lot of subscribers. They do a great job over there. So, and they're
They
always fun to
do.
collab with. So, appreciate you guys tuning in here.
Yeah, and check them out and check us both out once we play them at Ohio State. We'll have a nice collaboration video with them. Should be a good time catching up with them. But with that, fellas, that's it. Gophers we're predicting will be 2-0 after this week, heading into Cal. But as always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sky U Pod. Please share to like and subscribe to our channels, which can be found on YouTube, X, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. Be sure to check out our partner website at thecollegehuddle.com for more podcasts and articles about all things college football. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great night and go Gophers.